Be warned, you're 100% right. Someone close is trying to harm you. The name is. You can feel it. Something deep within you knows. This isn't just a passing suspicion or fleeting fear. It's a holy warning rising in your spirit like fire in your bones. You're not imagining it. You're not overreacting. You're discerning the truth. Someone close to you is working against you. Their words may be smooth, their smile rehearsed, their support cleverly disguised, but the energy behind their presence betrays them. You feel the cold shift in their silence, the strange envy in their congratulations. Quiet malice when your blessings arrive. God isn't showing you this to torment you. He's showing you this to protect you. Before harm can touch your life, He gives you insight. Before betrayal strikes, He opens your spiritual eyes. This is not the time to shrink in self-doubt. This is the time to rise in divine awareness, because the one who walks with God cannot be fooled for long, and though the name may not have been spoken aloud yet, your soul already knows who it is, and soon their identity will be revealed. Your spirit already knows the truth. Trust what you feel before the facts arrive. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. What you feel is real. The inner stirring, that quiet unease, that subtle shift in your atmosphere when a certain person enters your space. It is the voice of the Spirit warning you. Long before betrayal takes physical form, it starts in intention. And long before intention becomes action, your soul detects it like a radar aligned to truth. This is how God works. He doesn't wait until the knife is in your back to send a signal. He shows you the shadow of the blade in the realm of spirit, that tug in your chest, the dream you couldn't shake, the nervousness that crept in when they smiled too sweetly. It's not paranoia, it's prophecy. You are not meant to wait for the evidence. You are meant to awaken to the revelation. The truth does not need external confirmation to be true. When God shows you something spiritually, that is the highest court of reality. That is not suspicion. It is discernment, and the one who walks in discernment is never caught off guard. We have been conditioned to trust the visible more than the invisible, to trust facts more than faith, to wait for proof rather than act on what we already know in the depths of our being. But you are being called to a higher knowing now, a knowing that exists before the facts, above the senses, and beyond reason. In the realm of spirit, truth is not revealed by evidence. It is revealed by vibration. That low energy you feel when they speak to you, that odd feeling of being drained after spending time with them, that sudden sense of guilt or confusion after conversations. It's not coming from you. It's coming from them. Their energy carries the weight of their true intention. And if you slow down and pay attention, you will see it. You will feel it, and most importantly, you will know it. You do not need to argue with it. You do not need to ask for a sign. The sign is already within you. God speaks in spirit before He ever speaks in circumstance. And when someone's presence begins to contradict your peace, that is not accidental. That is revelation. Not everyone smiling at you is sent from heaven. Not every friend was meant to go with you to your next season, and the longer you ignore that inner check, the louder the consequences will become. You are not being warned to be afraid. You are being warned to be wise. God is elevating you into a position of spiritual accuracy, and with accuracy comes the requirement of silence, of stillness, of observation. Do not confront what God is still exposing. Do not rush to label what God is slowly revealing. Stay in discernment and let the truth make its way to the surface, because it will, every time. No hidden motive can remain hidden in the presence of a person aligned with truth. And if you are reading this, you are that person. People often misunderstand discernment as suspicion, but the two are not the same. Suspicion is rooted in fear. Discernment is rooted in revelation. Discernment doesn't need evidence. It simply recognizes energy. It sees the unseen. It hears the silence between words. It notices the pauses, the slight betrayals in tone, the vibrations behind the compliments. It feels what the natural eye cannot see, and that's why you've been feeling the way you've been feeling, because your spirit picked up on what their words try to hide. You're not the one being dramatic. You're the one being aware. That's why you've had dreams. That's why your peace is disturbed. That's why you're restless in their presence. It's not drama. It's divine defense. Sometimes God allows the people closest to us to reveal who they really are, not to break us, but to build us. You cannot go higher with someone who secretly hopes you fall. You cannot walk in divine purpose with someone who smiles publicly but curses privately. And while it hurts to accept this truth, it's more Dangerous to ignore it. What you allow in your atmosphere shapes your future, and what you refuse to confront spiritually will eventually confront you physically. That's why God doesn't wait for things to erupt before he alerts you. He shows you in your sleep, in your spirit, in those silent moments where the truth whispers, something's not right. When the Spirit gives you insight, do not second guess it just because it lacks earthly proof. Earthly proof is slow. Spiritual truth is instant. When Jesus saw the hearts of men, he didn't need them to speak a word. He perceived their thoughts. And if the Spirit of God lives in you, that same power exists in you. You don't need to explain why you feel what you feel. You don't need to justify your distance, your caution, your boundaries. You are protecting your destiny, and destiny is always worth protecting. You are not being harsh. You are being wise, and the wise recognize wolves before they bare their teeth. Just because the person is close doesn't mean they're safe, and just because you've known them a long time doesn't mean they've remained loyal. There comes a moment in every chosen person's journey where they must stop doubting what they know. You know the name, you've seen the signs, you've felt the weight, and now the time has come to respond, not with bitterness, not with revenge, but with clarity. God is not showing you this to create a war. He's showing you this to prepare your escape. The very trap they set will become the platform for your elevation, but only if you walk away from deception before it destroys you. Listen to the voice within. It is not wrong. It is not weak. It is not irrational. It is your lifeline to divine protection. And every time you honor that voice, you align with the will of God. So today, choose to believe what you feel before the facts arrive, because by the time the proof appears, the damage may already be done. But if you move by faith, if you trust the inner knowing, God will part the sea before you ever feel the waves. He will expose every hidden enemy. He will reveal every masked Judas, and you will walk forward in power, unshaken, untouched, and unafraid, because no weapon formed against you, seen or unseen, shall prosper. When you listen to the voice of the Spirit, you're 100% right. Now act like it. The snake cannot stay hidden. God reveals every enemy in disguise. When you walk with God, nothing hidden remains hidden forever. The moment your spirit aligns with truth, deception begins to unravel. It may come slowly at first, a whisper in the dark, a shift in someone's energy, a word spoken out of place. But soon the mask begins to slip. What once looked like loyalty reveals itself as jealousy. What once felt like friendship is exposed as manipulation. You begin to see people, not just for how they present themselves, but for the spirit they carry. This is not a skill you develop. It is a gift from God. For those who abide in the secret place of the Most High are not just covered by his shadow, they are empowered with his sight. The snake cannot remain hidden in the garden when the eyes of the righteous are open. It must be revealed, it must be exposed, it must be named, and not because you searched for it, but because you were ready to see. Deception can only thrive in darkness, but you were never meant to dwell in darkness. You are a child of light, and where you walk, light follows. The people around you may not understand your discernment. They may call you judgmental, dramatic, or distant, but what they cannot see is what God has shown you in spirit. And because you walk in alignment, you begin to feel the spiritual weight of people's intentions even before they speak. You are not judging them by appearance. You are reading the vibration of their soul. There is no mask thick enough to fool a person who is tuned into God. No matter how well they smile, how long they've been by your side, or how loud they cheer for you in public. If their spirit is off, you'll feel it, because the Holy Spirit does not lie. He will grieve inside you, alerting you to energy that does not belong. That uneasiness you feel when they enter the room, that sudden silence in your spirit when you talk about your plans with them, that's not just emotion, that's revelation. It's God showing you that the enemy has crept close, wearing a familiar face. But why does God allow this? Why does he permit snakes to dwell so close? Why does he let them sit at your table, smile in your face, walk beside you through victories, only for them to be revealed later as the very ones who wished you harm? The answer is simple: to train your discernment and protect your destiny. God does not expose what you're not ready to handle. He waits until your faith is strong enough, your spirit is awake enough, your vision is clear enough. He allows the snake to slither beside you until the moment your spirit is ready to confront it. Not with vengeance, but with awareness. You don't need to fight. You need to see, because once you see, Snake loses power. Its greatest weapon was secrecy, but when light exposes it, the game is over, and this is how God preserves your soul, by training your eyes to recognize spiritual threats even when they come cloaked in smiles and scripture. Understand this: God never reveals a snake without reason. Every time he pulls the mask off someone, it's because their presence has become a liability to your purpose. He's not trying to break your heart. He's trying to protect your harvest. He knows what you don't. He sees the thoughts of man. He hears the words they speak behind closed doors. He sees the resentment, the sabotage, the gossip, the false prayers, and when he knows that their proximity to you is delaying your elevation, he removes the blindfold from your eyes and whispers, "This is who they really are," not because he wants you to hate them, but because he needs you to release them. You cannot go where he's taking you with that level of spiritual warfare attached to your name. There are doors that only open when the traitor is no longer standing beside you, and God loves you too much to let you miss your next season just to keep someone close who is secretly rooting for your downfall. This is why spiritual alignment is more important than physical loyalty. Just because they've been with you for years doesn't mean they belong in your future. Some people were only meant to walk with you through the wilderness, but when the promised land is near, their assignment ends. You can't carry disloyalty into destiny, and if you try, you will suffer unnecessary battles. That's why God intervenes. That's why he shows you what you didn't want to see. He knows your heart. He knows you would have kept trusting them. He knows you would have given them another chance. So he does what only he can do. He exposes the hidden things of the heart. He allows situations to arise that force the truth to the surface. Suddenly, they can't hide it anymore. The fake love turns cold. The hidden jealousy begins to slip through their tone. Their applause begins to sound hollow, and your spirit starts to feel the shift. That's God. That's his way of separating you from what can no longer go forward with you. You are not crazy for letting go of people who never harmed you physically but damaged you spiritually. You are not wrong for protecting your peace, even if you can't fully explain what you felt. Some snakes are silent. Some enemies are subtle. But silence does not mean safety, and subtle does not mean innocent. If God showed you, believe him. If your spirit felt it, honor that feeling. You don't need an apology to move forward. You don't need confrontation. Be at peace. All you need is confirmation from the Holy Spirit. And if you've received that, that's all that matters. Let the snake fall away. Let the Judas leave the table. Let the mask drop and the truth stand. Because what God is about to do in your life requires clean hands, clear vision, and protected atmosphere. You are entering a season where every hidden enemy will be exposed. The ones who smiled while secretly resenting you. The ones who pretended to love you while undermining you. The ones who were sent not to support but to sabotage. God is lifting the veil. He's making all things visible, and your only job is to stay aligned. Do not become bitter. Do not seek revenge. Just observe, just distance, just release, because the snake that is revealed no longer has the power to bite, and once exposed it must flee. You are being elevated. Your circle is being refined. Your spirit is being sharpened, and soon you will look back and thank God for the snake, for it was the very thing that awakened your discernment, solidified your faith, and pushed you deeper into purpose. Let this be your reminder. The snake cannot stay hidden in the garden of the one who walks with God. The light will always find it, and when it does, let it go. Let them go and keep walking in power. That feeling you keep ignoring is revelation. Your spirit is trying to protect you. There is a feeling you've been carrying, subtle but persistent, silent yet powerful. It doesn't speak in words, but it echoes in your soul like a warning bell you can't unhear. It shows up in your body, in your breathing, in your sudden discomfort when someone enters the room. It visits you in dreams, in moments of stillness, when your logical mind has finally gone quiet enough for the truth to rise. And still, you try to reason it away. You tell yourself you're being too sensitive, too judgmental, too ungrateful. You convince yourself that there's no proof, that maybe it's just your past trauma resurfacing, that perhaps you're misreading things. But deep down, you know what this is. It's not fear. It's not paranoia. It is your spirit bearing witness to danger. It is the whisper of God within you saying, pay attention. You feel off around them for a reason. You hesitate to share your good news with them for a reason. You sense that something doesn't align, not because you're overthinking, but because you are perceiving what's hidden, and ignoring it would be more dangerous than anything you're afraid to confront. The reason you've been unsettled is because your spirit knows what your mind hasn't fully accepted yet. You are not meant to rationalize your way into destruction. God didn't give you intuition for decoration. He gave it to you for protection. When the Holy Spirit lives within you, He doesn't just comfort. You're not just meant to feel peace. You're meant to detect the disturbance. You are built to sense shifts in energy, to recognize spirits, to notice atmospheres. That tension you feel when they speak, that unexplainable weight when you're around them, that's not a mood swing, it's a revelation. Your spirit is trying to guide you away from harm. But if you keep silencing that voice in favor of what looks safe or sounds sweet, you will step into situations that God already gave you the blueprint to avoid. And make no mistake, God always sends a warning before the storm. He always makes a way of escape, but the way out often begins with a whisper, not a shout. You must be quiet enough to hear it and brave enough to believe it. You see, spiritual people are often gaslit by the world around them because their insights don't come from facts. They come from feelings, and because others can't feel what you feel, they'll try to talk you out of your discernment. They'll say you're imagining things, that you're holding on to something too tightly. You're creating problems where there are none. But listen, you know what you know. You've felt the same energy in different people before. You've seen this pattern. You've had this dream. You've felt this pull. You are not being called to prove your perception to others. You're being called to honor it within yourself. You don't need them to see it. You need to see it, because the moment you trust that inner voice is the moment you take your power back. The enemy thrives in confusion and silence, but clarity is your weapon and truth is your shield. And your truth is this: you don't feel safe with them because you're not. God often speaks through discomfort. He lets you feel unsettled so that you don't settle. He allows the conversation to irritate your peace so you can start paying attention. He lets the atmosphere around them feel heavy, sharp, or draining, because that's the reflection of their intention toward you. The Spirit doesn't lie. Even if their words are polished, their smile rehearsed, and their actions outwardly supportive, if your spirit detects danger, believe it. Too many people have ignored the subtle warnings only to be blindsided later. But you are not like them. You are awake now. You are aware now. You are in tune with something higher. And the moment you stop second guessing yourself is the moment your discernment sharpens. The most dangerous people are not the ones who openly hate you. The most dangerous are those who sit closest to you, but carry hidden agendas. The ones who clap when you win, but secretly wish you'd lose. The ones who offer help, but it comes with strings of manipulation. The ones who know your weaknesses and pretend to pray for them, while weaponizing them behind closed doors. These are not just people. They are spirits, and you are not at war with flesh and blood, but with spiritual forces that use people as vessels. This is why you must discern beyond the surface. Not everyone who says, "God bless you," is sent from God, and not everyone who says, "I love you," means it in spirit. Some love you in proximity, but envy you in their soul. Some want to be close to your light so they can quietly dim it, but your spirit knows. Your spirit has been picking it up. That's why conversations with them feel confusing. That's why you're exhausted after spending time with them. That's why you feel need to shrink around them. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. God is revealing. Are you listening? You've been trying to be kind, trying to keep the peace, trying to preserve the relationship. But now is the time to preserve your spirit, to protect your mind, to guard your heart. If peace is costing you your clarity, it is not peace. It is a spiritual trap. You are not called to stay in rooms where your discernment is suffocating. You are not called to silence what God is showing you just to maintain appearances. God is not concerned with your comfort zone. He is concerned with your calling, and He will shake everything that needs to be shaken until you move, until you see, until you believe what He already placed within you. That feeling you keep ignoring is not just a random signal. It's divine intelligence. It is your built-in warning system. And the longer you suppress it, the more you allow sabotage to sit in your sacred space. It's time to act, not in anger, not in fear, but in alignment. Begin to distance without drama. Begin to observe without explaining. Begin to guard your spirit like your future depends on it, because it does. The same God who gave you dreams about their betrayal is the same God who will give you peace once you walk away. Trust that you're not losing something good. You're being protected from something dangerous, and protection often feels like separation before it looks like blessing. Do not wait for the betrayal to become visible before you honor your spiritual instincts. If God has whispered, that is enough. If your spirit is grieved, that is enough. If your peace leaves when they arrive, that is enough. You don't need more signs, you need obedience. Let this be your wake-up call. The feeling you've been ignoring is the truth trying to set you free. That uneasiness is divine mercy in disguise. That confusion is your compass saying, this is not safe. Stop overriding it. Stop making excuses for people who keep dimming your light. Stop pretending you don't feel what you feel, because the moment you accept it, everything changes, your vision clears, your path opens, your strength returns, and you'll finally realize it wasn't about them. It was about your spirit recognizing its own worth and refusing to stay blind any longer. God is calling you out of danger, not with fire and thunder, but with that still, small voice and the name of the person he's warning you about. You already know it. You've known it for a while now. The question is, will you listen to the whisper before it becomes a storm? The snake was sent to reveal you how betrayal unlocks your spiritual power. It was never about them. The betrayal, the whisper behind your back, the energy shift you couldn't explain, the way someone close to you changed, these were never just acts of cruelty or random events. They were divine instruments, hidden lessons dressed in deception. You thought it was about being hurt, being broken, being left out or attacked, but no, chosen one. This was a divine setup. The snake was sent not to destroy you, but to reveal you, to awaken your vision, to activate your spiritual power, to test your discernment, purify your circle, and prepare you for promotion. Without the betrayal, you never would have known who was really for you. Without the opposition, you wouldn't have sharpened your perception. Without the hidden enemy, you wouldn't have prayed with such fire. There's something about the sting of the snake that ignites a version of you you didn't even know was asleep. And when you rise from that pain, you don't just return to your former strength. You unlock a new level of spiritual clarity, divine protection, and unshakable identity. The snake came in disguise, but the damage it caused led to destiny. God is sovereign. Nothing comes near you unless it's passed through his permission. So when someone close to you turns against you, whether in silence, jealousy, or slander, it means there's something in you too powerful to remain surrounded by counterfeits. You're being separated from what can't survive in your next season. And how does God do that? He allows the mask to slip. He lets the betrayal surface. He permits the enemy to get close enough to reveal themselves, just in time for you to see, to awaken, and to elevate. You can't carry Judas into your resurrection. You can't drag Delilah into your strength. You can't bring Saul into your reign. And so when God sees you're still trusting the wrong people, still praying for the wrong ones, still sharing your oil with those leaking poison behind your back, he lets the snake strike, not to kill you, but to wake you up. That pain you felt, that was your initiation. That betrayal, that was your alignment. That loss, that was your release. God uses pain like a scalpel, surgical, precise, holy. He removes who you refuse to walk away from and shows you the truth you refuse to see. And when the revelation hits, you don't just grieve, you rise. This is the divine paradox. The very thing that tried to break you was used to build you. The person who tried to ruin your name gave you the platform to declare your purpose. The one who wished your failure gave you the fuel to chase destiny harder than ever. God doesn't waste betrayal. He transforms it. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every false friend becomes evidence of your favor. Every private tear becomes oil for your anointing. You're not weaker because they turned on you. You're wiser because you saw them clearly. That's the gift. You've been upgraded, not in money or status first, but in vision. You see through smiles now. You sense the spirit behind compliment. You watch body language. You feel energy. You move slower with your trust. And that's not bitterness. That's awareness. You've been through the fire and now you glow differently. You're not paranoid, you're precise, you're not cold, you're clear. The snake didn't steal your love. Refined it. Now your love comes with discernment. Your boundaries are blessed. Your silence is strategic, and your presence is sacred. Some people were never meant to go with you, but your heart, full of mercy, kept them around. You excused their inconsistencies. You prayed for their transformation. You tolerated their jealousy. You gave them access to your prayers, your visions, your victories. And all the while they were plotting in the background, hoping to outshine the very light that covered them when they stood beside you. But grace cannot be stolen, and your light was never theirs to dim. God let the snake get close enough so the cut would wake you up. And now, with every layer of deception removed, you see what was always there. a spiritual parasite trying to feed off your purpose. But here's the beauty of divine justice. The snake thought it was getting closer to your weakness, but in reality it was escorting you to your warrior. Every tear unlocked a deeper roar. Every betrayal gave birth to more oil. Every loss became a prophecy fulfilled. You were always chosen, but now you walk like it. So don't despise what happened. Don't resent the snake. It did what it was designed to do. Expose your greatness. Your future was too heavy for dead weight. Your next level was too holy for contaminated energy. You cried, yes. You doubted yourself, yes. You even questioned God, but now look at you. Hearing more clearly, loving more wisely, praying more boldly, and walking more intentionally. You are not a victim of betrayal. You are the fruit of it. You were planted in pain, but you are rising in power. You thought you were breaking, but you were actually being born again, and every lie they spoke, every plan they plotted, every circle they turned against you, God heard it, God saw it, and God is responding, not with revenge, but with reversal. He's turning what they meant for evil into a launch pad for your breakthrough. They thought they buried you, but they didn't know you were a seed, and now that you've taken root in revelation, there is nothing stopping your rise. You are being vindicated, not in petty ways, but in divine ones. The same people who tried to kill your name will witness your elevation, not because you fought back, but because you stayed faithful. You didn't clap back, you clung to God, you didn't curse them. You covered yourself in light, and now heaven is backing you. Angels are assigned to you. Destiny is pulling you, and the snake, its role is over. It can hiss from a distance, but it can no longer slither in your space. The boundary has been drawn. The exposure has happened. The test is complete, and you passed by not becoming like them. You passed by protecting your heart. You passed by choosing silence when you could have spoken destruction. And now the reward is here. Your peace is restored. Your energy is reclaimed. Your path is clear, and you are walking with power, eyes open, spirit unshaken, and soul aligned. Let this truth settle deep in your soul. The snake did not destroy you. It revealed you. It revealed your strength, your vision, your purpose. It exposed what couldn't come with you and proved what was always inside of you. You are more than the betrayal. You are the product of divine design, and now that you've seen the truth, nothing can stop you from walking into the fullness of what God has always intended. The enemy came in like a flood, but the Spirit of the Lord raised a standard, and that standard is you elevated, protected, awakened, and ready. Let them talk, let them lie, let them watch. The snake had a purpose, but the glory belongs to God. The name will be revealed. When God exposes the one you suspected all along, there comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when what was whispered in spirit is shouted in reality. When the uneasy feeling finally aligns with undeniable truth, and the very name your soul has been wrestling with becomes exposed by divine timing. You've felt it for weeks, maybe even months, a strange heaviness in your heart whenever they walk in, an unspoken warning echoing in your chest whenever their name is mentioned, the kind of tension that doesn't show up on paper but screams in the spirit. And though you smiled through it, though you continued to trust, to love, to pour, a deeper part of you, quiet but persistent, kept saying, it's them. And now the time has come. God is about to reveal the name. Not in gossip, not through hearsay, but through undeniable manifestation. What was done in secret will now be dragged into the light, and the person you always suspected will no longer be able to hide behind charm, excuses, or fake loyalty. The curtain is about to fall, and the actor will be seen for who they truly are. This is not revenge. This is justice. This is the Lord proving that what you felt wasn't fantasy. It was prophetic. You see, God is slow to speak in public what he first whispers in private. He gives you a chance to listen to the nudge, the dream, the moment of unease. He trains your discernment before he uncovers the details. That's why you felt a disconnect even when everything looked normal. That's why your spirit recoiled when their name came up, even though they claimed to love you. That's why the energy didn't sit right, because in the spiritual realm their heart had already turned against you, and heaven was trying to warn you. The betrayal was already active in their thoughts. The weapon was already forming in their intentions. And while they still smiled in your face, their spirit had left alignment. But God, in his mercy, didn't let you find out. Through devastation, he started showing you signs. He gave you glimpses. He caused your spirit to wake up and say, watch this one. And now that moment you've been sensing is finally here. The veil is lifting, the truth is rising, and the name you've been holding in your heart, it will be confirmed, not through your own effort, but through divine exposure. The beauty of God's justice is that it doesn't require you to fight. When he reveals, it is final. You won't need to prove anything, dig for evidence, or convince others of what you saw in spirit. The fruit will speak, the actions will align, the betrayal will out itself. What they spoke in hidden places will come back around. What they plotted in silence will be shouted in the open. God is not mocked. What is sown in deception will be reaped in exposure, and the one who moved like a friend but carried the heart of an enemy will be shown for what they truly were. It will be so clear that even those who doubted your intuition will see it, and in that moment you will feel the weight lift, not because you wanted them to fall, but because the inner confusion you've been carrying will finally break. The questions will end. The wondering will stop, and the spiritual knowing you held on to will be vindicated by truth. This is not about punishment. This is about alignment. God cannot allow you to be surrounded by deception while you're stepping into your next level. He cannot let someone carry a dagger while standing next to your purpose. So he removes the cloak. He exposes the agenda. He shows you the name, not to bring chaos, but to bring clarity. You were never meant to walk blindly with people who secretly resented you. You were never meant to build with someone who hoped to watch it crumble. So when God reveals the name, honor the moment. Don't run to shame them. Don't react in anger. Don't seek revenge. Simply release, because the exposure is not your weapon. It's your deliverance. That's the moment where God says, enough. No more pretending. This one cannot follow you forward. You might feel the urge to grieve. That's okay. Grieve the loss of the illusion. Grieve the time you poured into someone who didn't value your light. Grieve the memories, the loyalty, the plans you made in good faith. But don't grieve the revelation. Celebrate it, because every name God reveals is a door he's closing. Every exposure is protection. Every unveiled enemy is one less distraction blocking your destiny. You are not losing a friend. You are losing a weight that was secretly trying to sink your purpose. And though the enemy will whisper that you're being dramatic or harsh, know this. Heaven celebrates when deception dies. You were never meant to share your oil with someone who was secretly poking holes in your jar. And yes, sometimes the name is someone you never wanted it to be, a sibling, a lifelong friend, a spiritual leader, a partner, someone you defended in every room, prayed for, carried through seasons of pain. But this is where your faith must go deeper. Trust that God knows what you don't. Trust that the revelation is mercy, not cruelty. If he let it last any longer, it would have poisoned your future. If he waited another season, it would have corrupted your blessing. That's why it had to come out now, before the door opened, before the stage was set, before the breakthrough hit. God reveals before he releases, so that when you walk into favor, you're walking with clean hands and a clean circle. Don't resist the process. Don't delay the release. The name has been revealed, and the time to let go is now. Your assignment in this hour is not to worry about what others think, not to over-explain, not to doubt the vision. Just obey, step back, protect your space, walk away with grace, because when God reveals the snake, he's already stripped it of its power. It may still slither, still hiss, still whisper lies, but its bite has no authority anymore. You are covered, you are chosen, you are equipped, and you are not alone. Heaven is backing you, angels are surrounding you, and the one who revealed the name is the same one who will restore everything you lost in the process. You will not walk into your future carrying the burden of betrayal. You will walk free, light, focused, and dangerous to the enemy's camp. So let this truth settle deep in your soul. The name you've suspected all along will soon be confirmed, and when it is, don't flinch, don't fold, don't fear, stand still, watch God move. What you knew in your spirit was right. What you felt in your gut was true, and now the truth is coming into the light for all to see. It won't be a whisper anymore. It will be undeniable. Mask is off, the game is over, and you're stepping forward with eyes open, spirit strong, and heart guarded by divine wisdom. You have graduated from confusion to clarity, and now your path is protected. Let the name be revealed, let the truth rise, and let God have the final word.